and in fact that's the Motard group, of course, that are going to make the line-up in there. But there's your Lee Tidman to try and get away off the inside, so good work by Lee. Can he hold it to go into the first turn? So nice work down there from Lee. Turn one, always a tricky one here, but he's got that smaller bike. Got to be a little bit harder to get off the line. Congrats to him. There it is, the little pilot on the little bike, and the man from Tamarui in the beautiful King Country. And here he is making his trip to Taupo. Look at that, just squirts that power on and makes that quick break to go up there into turn 3. So a bit of bad luck here that one of the other bikes didn't get off the line. Man, that must be so frustrating. You do all that for the warm-up, and here you are caught up. He's going to probably need help. We'll leave the bike there, and the rider will get out of the way and get over the fence. So a bit of bad luck down there. So this is a combination, as Dennis has picked up, of the NV Motorcycles Super Motard, as we have these modified motocross bikes to play their part, and in here as well as our intermediate lineup, also brought to us by NV Motorcycles. In that late entry of the number 45, he's taken pole position in Tamarui Hotshot Lee Tidman, former New Zealand Superlight champion. Big news, of course, that the Superlight class in serious jeopardy of dying on a national road racing scene, and that's a real shame, and people like Lee have been instrumental in making sure this class can stay alive, but under a real threat with only 4 entries at the final round here at Taupo those few weeks back. So there you are. From the fact that these riders, let's face it, have got a little bit of experience. We're not just talking of a clubman's class, so I think they're fine to be in amongst them. And as you pointed out, Dennis, on a super motard, there'll be some of those guys on a bigger bike behind, and we're going, how does that guy do it? Yeah, in fact, surprising, I was here just a few weeks ago for the Vic Club's round, and they had a fist of motards, and I thought the motards were stronger up here than they were in the lower North Island. So pleasantly surprised at the good numbers Vic had, but certainly disappointed that we don't know where those motard riders are gone, that they're not with us here. But of course, the Vic Club only used Taupo the once, and the rest of their racing will be at Manfield. You were talking about your flag marshalling before, Dennis. You made a few trips to Manfield? Yeah, thank you. Great words here from Dennis today. NV Motorcycles are at home in their shop, of course, in Little Morrinsville up there, the Jacinda capital of New Zealand, and neat to have their support on board with us. They've sponsored both these classes, which coincidentally were destined to run separately, but with their rider numbers have been a combo here today. So there we go with Lee already, the 45 of Lee Tidman out in front. And looking at Mike Kyle on that motard, he's there in 3rd place. So Nick Campenhort has got up there, a very busy man here today. This time he's on the Husqvarna. Now we're going to get this one wrong for sure, Dennis, aren't we? The Vitpillen, unsure as to. Yeah, I've looked at it. I'm now working in a motorcycle shop selling Husqvarnas, and I've had 2 goes at it, and I've got it wrong already. Just a different kind of motorcycle. 701cc is a single as well, so you're certainly going to be punching a fair bit of power. It's going to be a great powerhouse bike on a track like this, which has got so many opportunities for late braking and on the power again, or on the gas to get away. You're not going to be too displaced, and I think that's what he's proving with a very good second now. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. All right, 45 back with our man Lee Tidman, intermediate racing today for our former national champion. In fact, Lee Tidman, he's got some serious kudos in there, so nice to see him up and amongst some good work from Nick. So check it out, he's a hot shot. Then we look out for Nick Campbell, Nick in that second place. Motard rider Mike Kyle, as Dennis has picked up. So if we go to our Motard lineup, the 710 of the Fogatoni man on the Fogatoni motorcycles, rock all lubricated. That's a Husqvarna as well. That's the FC 450. So you've got the Husqvarna engine of the 701, and then you look out as well for the 450 out there. The privilege of seeing a little bit more about Husqvarna's work that they've done. They call it the Anderson, the Rockstar Edition, which is based on the Rockstar energy drink, which the World Motocross team do. And these bikes are certainly packing an amazing amount of punch. And to see the guys are now quickly modifying them and turning them into motard bikes. The only thing original about them is the fact that they're 450cc, but the engine development now is just superb, and we're seeing just how fast they can be. But speaking of fast, there's none faster than this man, Lee Tidman, looking awesome on this fantastic little Bike Talk supported, what are we going to call it, a Yamda or a Honma, with the Honda chassis and the Yamaha engine in it. Which one do you like there, Dennis? The orange army, I like your name there, Dennis. Well done. Yes, indeed. You're far too under-recognised for the commitment, and we've got people like Dennis helping us here today. He would normally be out on the track and part of that orange army, those amazing volunteers. We love it. All right, there we go, 45. Checkered flag, well done to Lee Tidman. Fantastic from the Tamarunui rider this morning. Great effort up there as we check out Nick Campenhort on the Husqvarna. In fact, take that away with the Husqvarna also getting the third place, and that's the first of the Super Motards with Mike Kyle. We've got Alex Butson checking on Jacob Stroud in here as well. So Jacob's on the little 390, might be an intermediate class, but I'll tell you what, hard work, hard work. In fact, he's hugging the wall, will he hold it? Yes, he just does with the bigger 450 down the outside. So that's his little 390, of course. That's the little KTM Duke, and he's just held on to that placing. And the other one with him there was Dave Aitchison. Well, I've got a great story to tell you about Dave Aitchison, folks, the number 4 down here. Dave, a great cross-country and motocross man from years gone by. Remember the 4-stroke nationals was a real fun event held over Easter each year, and at the Huntley Run event, and we're talking politely around 20 moons ago, that he was in the wheelie competition. And the last I ever remember of him is doing a wheelie, and he just carried on. It was just so perfect that he went out of sight, but thinking that he'd pulled the best wheelie, he was actually going into the no man's land and went straight into a creek, and pulled up and stopped in a very rapid time, but a very good rider. And he's a dairy farmer from Aotearoa, just up the road here. And I met him here at a road race event, and I was blown away. I said, "What are you doing here?" He said, "Oh, Neil, it's too hard on the body, and the body's so important to be working on the farm each day." So he thought this was still a good way to get into motorcycling, and here he is with a motard bike. So it's almost like he hasn't even lost it, just changed the knobblies to road tyres. So another good story, and once a good champion, always a good champion. 6th place, and more importantly, 2nd out of those motard riders. Chris Andrews in there as well. Chris has been a top 5 in New Zealand Championship racing before. A man from Rotor Vegas, just up the road there, so there's some quality credits. These are guys with real credentials that are doing very well in our class here today as well. And then we go to Hamish Boyd, Bob Irvine, Jesse Stroud back in there. Now Jesse on the little R3, a 10th place in an intermediate class for a production-based motorcycle. Some good work in our lineup today. NV Motorcycles is the name to remember, though. Can't do it without our sponsors. After all, this is our Kawasaki Series winter racing with the Hamilton Club, and as Dennis has highlighted, celebrating their 100th year. Amazing credit, man, oh man. The thing to remember, and I think Joe Public out there need to understand, of course, we had motorcycle racing before we had car racing, because motorcycles were a means of transport that was far more dominant than what a car was.